Become your own hero. Stop waiting for someone to save you. The cavalry isn't coming. No masked figure will descend from the heavens to fix your shattered world or pull you from the wreckage of your own choices. Heroes are born in chaos, forged in fire, and if you want one, you'll have to become it yourself. It's a bitter truth, but one laced with freedom. Because once you realize no one's coming, you understand. It's your story to write. Heroes aren't built in comfort. They don't emerge from peace, from safety, from a life free of struggle. No, heroes are carved from the edge of disaster, from the moments that threaten to break them. You don't become a hero by avoiding pain. You become one by enduring it, by staring into the abyss and refusing to blink. The scars aren't a mark of weakness. They're proof you survived when others fell. The world doesn't reward martyrs. It rewards survivors. Forget the stories about selfless heroes who sacrificed everything for the greater good. Those are tales spun by those too afraid to take their own lives in hand. The real hero isn't selfless. The real hero is selfish enough to live for themselves, to fight for their vision, to claw their way out of hell because no one else will. And once they've done that, then, maybe then, they can save someone else. Being your own hero isn't about being perfect. Perfection is a myth, a lie sold to keep you chasing an impossible standard. Heroes aren't perfect. They're flawed, broken, messy. What makes them heroes is that they rise despite it all. They don't wait to be ready, to be fixed, to be whole. They act now in their imperfection, because waiting is just another word for surrender. The masses love the idea of a hero, but they hate what it takes to become one. The discipline, the sacrifice, the solitude. Heroes don't fit in. They don't follow the crowd, and they don't care about being liked. They are hated, feared, envied, because their very existence is a challenge to mediocrity. To become your own hero, you have to accept that loneliness is part of the journey. Heroes don't beg. They don't plead for approval or validation. They don't wait for permission to act. Heroes take. They seize the moment, the opportunity, the power that others are too afraid to grasp. The world tries to shame this hunger, to call it arrogance. But it's not arrogance. It's necessity. Because if you don't fight for your own life, who will? The journey isn't easy, and it isn't meant to be. Heroes are made in the moments where most people quit. The moments where the pain is too much, the path too hard, the reward too distant. It's in those moments that you decide who you are. Do you give in, or do you rise? Do you let the darkness consume you, or do you become the light that shatters it? Being your own hero isn't about standing on a pedestal. It's about standing in the mud, in the chaos, in the storm, and refusing to fall. It's about owning your mistakes, your flaws, your humanity, and turning them into your strength. Heroes aren't born. They're made, piece by painful piece, in the fires of their own choices. And the most powerful choice is to keep going when everyone else has stopped. You don't need a cape, or a mask, or a symbol. You don't need anyone to call you a hero. You only need one thing: the will to fight. Fight for yourself, for your life, for the person you're meant to become. The masses will watch, criticize, laugh, but none of that matters. Because when the dust settles, you'll be the one standing. Become your own hero. Not for applause, not for recognition, but because no one else can. No one knows your struggle, your pain, your dreams. No one will fight for them like you will. And when you rise, when you stand tall, when the world sees what you've become, they'll be terrified. You need to save yourself, not just from the world outside, but from the shadows lurking within. Toxic people and manipulators are easy to spot once you know what to look for. They smile while they sharpen the knife, laugh as they pull the strings. But the real enemy is the one inside, the one that whispers, doubts, plants fears, sabotages your every step forward. That enemy knows you better than anyone else, and it's been plotting against you since the beginning. The manipulators out there want control over your mind, your choices, your life. They weave illusions so convincing you start to believe you're powerless. But manipulation only works if you let it. Their strength lies in your fear, in your hesitation, in the parts of you that crave validation. The moment you stop looking to them for approval, their power crumbles. But even then, the fight isn't over. It's just begun. Toxic people are parasites, feeding on your energy, your attention, your pain. They thrive on keeping you stuck, confused, doubting your worth. They'll convince you that you need them, that you're nothing without them, that your wings will break if you try to fly alone. But the truth is, they're the weight, dragging you down. Cutting them loose isn't cruelty, it's survival. It's reclaiming the strength they've been siphoning from you all along. The hardest battle, though, is with your darker self. The part of you that wants to quit, to give up, to stay in the safety of the shadows. This isn't the enemy you fight. It's the one you have to face, to understand, to master. It knows your weaknesses, your darkest thoughts, your deepest fears. But it also holds your strength, your drive, your potential. To save yourself, you don't destroy it. You integrate it. You become the master of your own darkness. Saving yourself means becoming ruthless, not with others, but with your own boundaries. You don't negotiate with manipulators. You don't make excuses for toxic people, and you don't indulge the whispers of self-doubt. Every decision, every action, every thought becomes a declaration of your worth. You don't owe anyone your time, your energy, or your trust. Those are privileges earned, not given freely. The world is full of people who'll tell you to be kind, to be patient, to forgive. But kindness has its limits. Patience runs thin. Forgiveness is earned, not owed. Saving yourself means learning to say no, to others, to yourself, to anything that doesn't serve the person you're trying to become. It's not about being cruel. It's about being clear. Clarity is your weapon, and it cuts deeper than any blade. Manipulators rely on confusion. Toxic people rely on guilt. Your darker self relies on fear. But clarity cuts through all of it. When you know what you want, who you are, and where you're going, nothing they say or do can sway you. Clarity makes you untouchable, unshakable, unstoppable. And once you've tasted that freedom, you'll never let anyone take it from you again. This isn't a one-time battle. It's a war you fight every day. Toxic people don't give up easily. Manipulators adapt. Your darker self doesn't disappear. It evolves, but so do you. Every time you face them, you grow stronger. Every time you choose yourself, you become harder to break. Saving yourself isn't a destination. It's a process, a journey, a lifelong commitment. The world won't understand. They'll call you selfish, cold, unkind. Let them. Their words are just weapons they use to control you, to pull you back into the cycle of toxicity. But you're not fighting for their approval. You're fighting for your life. And in that fight, there's no room for compromise, no room for weakness, no room for anything less than everything you've got. Save yourself. Save yourself from the parasites, the puppeteers, the shadows, because no one else will. No one else can. The battle is yours to fight, yours to win. And when you do, you'll see it clearly. The hero you've been waiting for has been there all along. Become your own hero. That's where the power lies. Forever. The interplay between our darker side and brighter side is a delicate war, one that most people lose before they even realize it's begun. It's not a battle fought with swords or guns, but with choices, whispers, and the constant pull of what lies beneath the surface. The darker side isn't evil. It's primal, raw, untamed. It hungers for power, survival, satisfaction. The brighter side isn't innocent. It's calculated, strategic, often self-serving in its pursuit of the ideal. Together, they create a balance, if you can control them. But lose control, and you lose yourself. Most people let the darker side take over, disguising it as ambition or confidence. They tell themselves it's strength, that it's the price of winning. But it's not strength. It's chaos, consuming everything until there's nothing left but hunger. Others swing too far the other way, clinging to the brighter side, suffocating under the weight of their own expectations. They become prisoners of perfection, their lives ruled by fear of failure, of darkness, of imperfection. Both paths lead to ruin. Control doesn't mean silencing one side or the other. It means orchestrating them, like a conductor with a symphony of chaos and light. It means knowing when to let the darker side loose, to fight, to take, to destroy, and when to rein it in, to let the brighter side heal, rebuild, create. The interplay isn't a conflict, it's a dance, and the only way to master it is to embrace both sides as parts of the same whole. The problem is, most people are afraid of their darker side. They suppress it, deny it, pretend it doesn't exist. But the more you suppress something, the stronger it grows. Darkness doesn't disappear when ignored. It festers, waiting for the moment you're weakest to strike. Ignoring your darkness doesn't make you pure. It makes you blind. And blindness is a weakness you can't afford. To control the interplay, you must face your darker side, not as an enemy, but as a partner. It has strengths your brighter side can't match: courage, resilience, and most importantly, instinct.